Hey guys, so I'm not looking at the camera right now, not because I have a script or anything in front of me, but just because, I just want to talk and I don't want to, hold the microphone and try to do anything like that. But I have finally reached 2,000 hours in Dead by Daylight, which is right around the point where most people start recognizing that you have a amount of hours that is necessary to be at least mediocrely knowledgeable at the game, adept at the game even. You're above the beginner and you're starting to reach the point where you've been playing for long enough that you should know more about the game than you actually do. And that is a great place to be, at least in my opinion. I have been enjoying this game a lot. Some people think that I don't like this game because, quote, I'm always complaining, but I already did an entire video where I went over my, most recent, 60 videos and talked about how I wasn't complaining as much as people think I am. The problem that a lot of people run into is that my videos that are overly negative, the ones that are, highly, highly negative, get tons of attention, while the ones that are positive or more discussion-based get less attention. So the ones that you're more likely to see are the ones that everybody else is trying to see, and I'll do a full video on that some other day. The point that I'm trying to get to is that when I am talking about the fact that I've hit 2,000 hours in this game, I'm not trying to sit here and pretend like I'm some sort of expert. But I did want to talk a little bit about my experience in growing in this game and how it's kind of important to realize that hours definitely don't equal skill. Now, if you watch any of my videos on the Extras channel, or if you hang out in streams, or hell, even if you just look at the B-roll sometimes, you can see me struggling here and there. And a big part of that is because most of the time, I don't play with any sort of plan in mind. I just look for a build, I think the build might be cool, and then I hop in and I just play. Or sometimes, more recently especially, since I've finally achieved every single tome, which I'll be making a video on that at some point, I just kind of boot up the game and play. I just play to play. I play to either do some build showcases or just to see if I can get a good, interesting, funny game. And I am happy to say that we have been getting a lot of good, interesting, and funny games. But realistically speaking, where did I go from the original time I first started playing Dead by Daylight to where I am now? In order to kind of understand this, I went back and I watched some of my earlier Dead by Daylight content. Specifically, a lot of the gameplay videos that I was doing before I ever started doing Dead by Discussions. I used to upload videos that were honestly just the game, and my very first Dead by Daylight video was a video where I killed a Meg because she kept hiding in lockers, which was absolutely hilarious. And as I watched through that game, and I watched through the subsequent games afterwards, I realized that there was a lot more joy in the way I approached the game. Which might be kind of interesting to a lot of people, because nowadays, if you watch me, there's not as much joy sometimes when I'm playing. Or is there? A lot of people have said that when they watch me play, they don't see as much fun or enjoyment as they used to when they used to watch me play before, but realistically speaking, there's almost the exact same amount. I have figured out through my time playing this game and through watching some of my older videos, watching some of my newer videos, watching some of my streams back in celebration of this 2,000 hour mark, that a lot of times my personality really hasn't changed from back then to how it is now. There's a lot of wonder that is gone, a lot of new stuff that I no longer am able to discover because at this point in the game I feel like I've fucking seen everything, and there was definitely times in the past when I would get tilted off the side of the fucking planet because there is very few things in this game that tilt me. I know that seems weird and a lot of you don't believe me, but it's true. I don't get necessarily tilted at gen rushing swifts or head-on swifts or anything. I get bored if I go into a game and instantly I'm getting head-on 3 times in a row by a swift and they're flashlight clicking. Sometimes I just DC because, I mean, honestly, I just don't want to play with people like that, but realistically speaking, a lot of my tilt doesn't come from me losing the game. It either comes from my poor performance when I know that I could play better, or it comes from the feeling of helplessness. And that's not always necessarily something that is on the mechanic side of the game. Sometimes it's something as simple as a hit that should have hit didn't hit, right? If I swing at somebody and my swing goes through them, I will start getting a little bit annoyed. If I go to chainsaw somebody with Hillbilly and they touch my chainsaw and then they do a slow dance to it to Barry Manilow, and then they fucking give me a little kiss on the kneecaps and then they walk away, I'll get a little bit more tilted. And it happens again and again and again. But recently I was watching a video from Lilith Omen where he was playing the Blight to showcase the new skin. And also, as a real side note, I want to ask you guys, I've been thinking about doing a video series where I analyze like top skilled players in the game, like go back and watch their videos, watch their matches, and kind of break down and explain a lot of their thought processes and what's so impressive about the way they play the game. If you want some of that, let me know, because I think it'd be a really cool thing to do. But in any case, I was watching that video with chat, and there were like 3 or 4 times where he got robbed out of a hit or out of a down or something like that. And I was like, bro, if that was me, I would be raging. I would be tilted off the side of the planet because god damn it, why can't this game work properly? But Lilith wasn't. And I remember when I was talking to him in the interview that I did with him, I asked him how he can keep his cool, right? How can he look at that and how can he control his anger? And he said, because it just doesn't really affect him as much as it does everybody else. And so after 2,000 hours, I'm wondering to myself if it's not that the joy has gone, because I can still have fun, I can still make my jokes, I can still do all of this, and there's not much difference between, 20-hour Kaiser and 2,000-hour Kaiser in terms of personality. But there is a lot of soullessness that's been sucked out of me from playing this game for so long. And so I guess what I wanted to say with this video is I think I want to see if I can find the soul in Dead by Daylight again. Can I find, not the joy, because I still do have fun, can I find the soul of this game? Can I find the way to not get tilted whenever the game fucks me? Can I find a way to take the bugs and the bullshit hits and all of that and let it slide off of me? And I know there's going to be some people who are going to try to offer advice, and I'm not going to stop you, but I will tell you that I'm probably not going to read it because I don't listen to advice I didn't ask for, but I will be working toward that. As far as playing this game for 2,000 hours and how I feel about it, well, first off, I played it for 2,000 hours. It should be fairly obvious how I feel about it. But second off, I think this is actually a well-designed game. Bugs aside, I do think that there's a lot of heart that goes into this game from the developers, and I do think that there's some things that maybe we as players don't see on the back end that is kind of stopping the developers. I do think that after 2,000 hours of this game, I have come to a lot of conclusions that are different from when I first started the game. A lot of things that I agreed with back in the day that I don't now, and a lot of things that I had disagreed with back in the day that I don't now. A lot of my opinions have changed, and they'll continue to change as I go through. But overall, I think Dead by Daylight is a good game. There's a reason it's got a 60 million player base. There's a reason it's about to get the literal biggest horror collab it can ever get, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a reason that this game is thriving, and it's definitely not because it's a bad game. I just think that it has a lot of flaws that need to be ironed out, and I truly do believe that this game could benefit from the Overwatch 2 treatment. Not fully. No promise PvE that doesn't come. Don't do that. But I think that the game could just benefit from being recoded in a way that we could maybe work a little bit better, so that the optimization is better and we're not randomly dropping frames, so that there's a little bit better connectivity issues, so that there's less bugs, and there's just so much other stuff. And I told myself back when I had reached my 1,000-hour mark that I would come back to this concept of Dead by Daylight at the 2,000-hour mark, and I would decide whether or not I'm going to be making content for this game in the long term. In other words, will I be an Ots Darva? Will I still be making Dead by Daylight content in a year, 2 years, 3 years? And the truth of the matter is that I don't think I will. It's not that I don't like Dead by Daylight, it's that eventually I'm going to want to move on. And I am going to wait until this game has completely drained me of everything. And like I said back in my comeback video. If I ever do completely move on, you're not going to know it until you know it. I'm not going to make an announcement video. I'm not going to say a goodbye. I will simply and utterly just stop making content around the game. Now, that's not to say if you see one video that is completely different from Dead by Daylight that time has come. You need to wait until there's multiple videos and Dead by Daylight is no longer getting uploaded, but I simply don't see how I could possibly play this game for the long term, because at some point I'm going to get bored and annoyed with it, and not only that, I'm also going to probably reach a point where I'm just really sick and tired of the community. But I feel like I've done enough videos on the community. I feel like I've done enough videos on a lot of other things. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys my feelings about Dead by Daylight after 2,000 hours. I wouldn't expect a video at 3,000. Maybe if I hit 5,000 hours, you can expect a second video, but we'll see. But hey, if you have a lot of hours in Dead by Daylight, then let me know what your thoughts down below are. And as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today and get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. If you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, then check out my other channel, Kaiser the Bard, where I do things like discuss the game, give you DM and player tips, and more. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.